A very good afternoon to everyone. I welcome to all of you to 6th day of Bharat Nutrition Week. I'm your host Nikki Gupta, CEO of Teamwork Communications Group, India's leading health-focused communication firm with several awards-winning campaigns to its credit. It's my privilege to host the second edition of the Good Food Talk Show. Today's session is Good Food for Disease-Free and Longer Life. India's ranked for having nearly 50 million cardio patients and second for being home to around 155 million obese people. Over 30 million people have been diagnosed with diabetes and 100 million suffers from high blood pressure. These numbers are clearly indicative of India's unhealthy population, which is slated to upsurge in the coming year. This can be attributed to today's sedentary lifestyle, and we are active part of it. Extensive sitting in front of the screen without breaks, skipping meals, and due to work pressure, and of course the practice of resorting of junk food, starving for hours, and relishing unhealthy binging is leading all these causes. Eating a variety of healthy food is the key to a good diet, one that will improve your overall health, help fend off diseases, increase longevity, and while no one single food is a cure of all, researchers have found that some foods in particular do have superior disease fighting properties that can make you healthier. Regular incorporate of some of these food and vegetables into your diet can have a health benefits, and the deliver may stick with you for a lifetime. While none of us can live forever, we can add some extra years onto our life by paying attention what you eat to increase your lifespan as well as improving the quality of life. We have our esteemed panelist speakers with us today to give us some thoughtful insights on the how to consume good foods for disease-free and longer life. We'll try to find out a variety of foods which we will get from the various years of expertise these speakers will share with us. To discuss the same, we have Lavneet Batra with us. Lavneet is a most insightful nutritionist, columnist, and the celebrity TV show host. She believes fitness is a long journey and must bind habits build habits to stay forever instead of diet plans with an expiration diet. She emphasizes on quality nutritionist choices to optimize health benefits for her clients. So welcome, Lavneet. Welcome to our show. We have Dr. Nandita Iyer. Dr. Nandita Iyer is the author of book Everyday Superfoods. The book is a helpful guide on how we can introduce superfoods to everyday diet. It can elaborate on a step-by-step approach to improving your relationship with food, enriching diet and superfoods. 39 superfood explained in detail, getting practical with menu plans, superfood swaps, shopping, cookware, more than 60 easy superfood recipes. So I'm definitely going to buy that. So welcome, Dr. Nandita. We have Shweta Shah with us. Shweta is an entrepreneur, a change maker, dietitian, and a master curator of healthy and amazingly delicious delicacies. Shweta Shah done several caps in her professional life, driven by a burning desire of unrelenting passion to nudge people towards healthier lifestyle. She is a firm believer of therapeutic powers. The ancient science of Ayurveda incorporates and lives the mantra of simple is honest and simple is powerful. So welcome, Shweta. Welcome to our show. We have Ginny Sheikh with us. Ginny is a nutritionist and a fitness athlete, and she has been serving in the field of fitness for almost 5 years. She's known as an Hannah Montana of fitness journey industry. She is a brand ambassador of many international brands. So welcome, Ginny. And we have a very special guest with us, I feel, who does not need any introduction. She's a well-known, we have Dr. Blossom Kocher with us. She's a chairperson, Dr. Blossom Kocher of companies, and she has many feathers in her cap. So welcome, Dr. Blossom. Welcome to our show. So I'll quickly start our discussion here. And as we know that we are going to discuss about the healthy food for healthy life. So I would request Blossom to, begin this discussion, Blossom, Dr. Blossom, I would like to know your thoughts, your mantra, and what's your recommendation for good food for disease-free and longer life? You are on mute, Dr. Blossom.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be among all these wonderful dietitians and the doctor who's written a book and Ayurveda and the fitness expert and of course you, Nikki, and IHW. It's really wonderful to be here and to be talking on food. Because one thing I do believe that food and nutrition is the most important of anything. Like I always tell when my clients come to me for their skin and their hair, the first thing I say, I can put anything on your skin, I can do anything for your hair, but if you're not eating the correct food, nothing is going to really help, because that is, I think, the basis. And it should start, of course, right from young, where the children should be taught how to eat and how to, what they should be given the foods that are good and the good food that is there and not just stuffed just to make them a lovely little plumpy baby. I think that is something that shouldn't be there. And they should be taught that because another thing I believe in is what you're taught in childhood and what you eat. It's something, it grows with you, it really grows with you. And if you want to change after you're an adult and things, it takes a little time and then you follow these crash diets and then that whole thing. And really that is not going to help at all. So I believe in the simplest food, I think is the best food. And that is that you have to eat all these things. Proteins are important, but I know there are many people like I, again, not so much onto meat and others. And so I definitely have the dals and the pulses and I take the dals, pulses, and I mix it with rice. Because I don't know, long ago I was told that when you have a dal and a rice, it gives you a complete protein. But I'll have to ask our experts around here also. They'll tell us more about it. It gives you a complete protein. That is there. Vegetables, I think, the more green leafy, I eat a whole lot of green leafy vegetables, and I recommend that because that has got all the minerals and it's called the vitamins, which is good for your system, like I'll talk on the beauty part, the hair, the figure, everything. It's really good for that, the vitamin. And of course, fruits are there. But then again, as we keep growing older, we'll have to see which fruits and how much of fruit to eat. You can't just go on eating so much of fruit, and you should just eat the fruit that is, that recommended for you and how, like if you've got diabetes or something. In fact, if you're eating correct and if you're, exercising, I don't think you're going to get any of these kind of diseases. So I think the fruits have to be there. And of course, and fats to a certain extent, I am all for having a little bit of the cow's ghee because I believe cow's ghee really has, like when you go into Ayurveda, it goes with the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So it really helps to balance out your whole thing. That is there. And that these are the main things that I go through. And of course, not too much of empty foods, not too much of Coca-Colas and other things, because that again is really not working. None of the sugary drinks, I can't say Coca-Cola, any sugary drinks, any fizzy drinks, that is not there. It's more fruit juices. And the thing that I really love, which helps me a great deal, is ragi. Ragi, that pulse, that really helps. And I remember when I was first getting a little bit of thyroid, and then there was a calcium deficiency also. And then I was put on this ragi, and believe it or not, it really worked so well. So I have ragi, which I eat in the morning. And another thing which I believe in, is good food is great with the turmeric and all the other things that come through, but eat in a very don't like eat just whatever is there on your plate and in a bowl, and don't and be very mindful of your eating. So this is really what I go through. And of course, other things that I spend a lot of time with when I'm eating is cabbage and cauliflower and onions, because it's very good for the hair and it's got all the copper that is in there. So I always tell people, instead of boiling it and putting it on your hair, please, take it in. And also an egg. An egg, I always tell them, eat an egg, because that is really good. And of course, that is very good. It's got everything that you need. And instead of putting it on your hair and your face, eat it. So this is how I go about my whole diet, and follow a very simple diet, which is really going to help with the carbohydrates, the proteins, the vitamins, the minerals, and of course, water. Water is something that I take a lot of. So it's a very simple diet. And I'm looking forward to listening to all our experts here and see what I can pick up from there to start increasing my whole thing.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dr. Blossom. I would like to hear Loveneet's view on the same.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you, Dr. Blossom Kocher. As you rightly said, if it has to be a diet that makes you disease-free and gives you a long life, it has to be a simple diet. I think most of us, the problem that we are facing these days is of extreme stress and inflammation, be it psychological, be it emotional, be it environmental, be it physiological. So when we talk about how food can help us live a long life, is if we de-stress our body in all these different aspects by bringing the inflammation in our body down, right? Unfortunately, given the fact that we're all in front of screens all the time and convenience has taken over our life to some other extent, we are missing out on foods that were earlier part of our traditional diets. So going back to basic, right? Making sure that how our ancestors ate in a thali, be it your whole grain, it could be your unpolished rice, or like Dr. Kocher said, it could be a millet like ragi, it could be whatever you feel comfortable with, what you think makes you feel better. Go with more familiar options and make sure that you are also following a ritual where you're eating in a stress-free zone, not when you're in the car, not when you're taking calls. I think eating, the practice of eating, when you are grateful, you are more conscious, you are more intuitive of that eating practice, and you give yourself enough time. The food that you're eating definitely matters, but how you consume that food is equally important for bringing that inflammation down, right? Most people these days are missing out on two major food groups that help in bringing the inflammation down, that fruits and vegetables. So focusing on seasonal fruits and vegetables, making sure that you're having 4 to 5 servings of vegetables in a day. Doesn't necessarily has to be a salad, but it could be a homemade sabzi that is cooked in ghee, or it is cooked in mustard oil, and have it fresh. The minute we start relying on stale food, it could be the same superfood, we call it, with all these nutrients. But if it is stale, it is not being utilized in our body the same way fresh food is. So I think just to keep it simple, I would say bring back the balance, stay intuitive, not just focusing on certain superfoods, but also how you're consuming those foods is very, very important. And create sustainable solutions that are easy for your household. Because if you want to just do a detox, say for a month, and it is not sustainable, it might not help you no matter how many superfoods are there in that detox.
So here, I have taken a couple of good points from Dr. Kocher and Loveneet. I'll come back here, again. So I would like to hear Nandita's thought, Dr. Nandita's thought here first, and again I'll come back. Yeah.
Thanks for having me on this panel with all these wonderful co-panelists. I totally agree with what Dr. Blossom Kocher and Loveneet had to say, and I'm just adding a few points. from my side, and not to be repetitive about what they've already spoken. I've written a lot about this in my book, Everyday Superfoods. And like I say, that my book is much more than just listing the superfoods and giving recipes, because there's the whole background work that needs to be done in terms of understanding our present relationship with food and then improving on it, like Lavneet was just explaining. And, I think increasingly in the current times, we're falling for clickbait, instant gratification. People are looking for, if you go on YouTube, you'll see like, 20 kilos weight loss by just drinking this tea. That's not realistic. That's not science backed. And in fact, it could be pretty harmful to the health in the long run if people keep experimenting with such quote unquote miracle kind of cures. Because anything that is to do with health, nutrition, longevity is an absolute long-term investment into your health. There are, I'm sorry to disappoint anybody, but in the audience, but there is no miracle cure and there's no instant cure. It's all a long-term investment into your health, and you have to follow a sustainable lifestyle and make sustainable changes. Not, no extreme diets or extreme solutions which you cannot follow on a long-term basis. Lavneet was saying, even if you have to cook something, then make sure it's possible for your whole family, because how long can someone cook alone for themselves alone in their house? Neither can we do it ourselves, nor can we recommend to a patient or a client that you follow this particular diet. Thirdly, look at superfoods. When in today's times everything comes labeled as a superfood, but look at what is local to you. Look at what is easily available, what is inexpensive, and what is versatile, because only then can I use it in different ways and use more of it. It's not like, one rare superfood which I can only have as a smoothie or a supplement, but which is where all our desi Indian superfoods are. Literally, you can add it in so many different recipes. You can cook it in so many different ways and make it a part of your everyday lifestyle in a very sustainable way for the long term. The next small tip I have is that, we don't eat mindfully. So then we don't realize when we are full, and invariably we end up overeating before we realize that we are full. So there's this quote, leave the party before it's over. So don't wait until you're so stuffed that, you've eaten so fast. And then by the time you've eaten, you feel like, oh my God, I've eaten so much. So unless you eat slowly, your stomach will not send the signal to the brain that, you are full now, you can slow down. So I think 75 to 80% is what you should aim at eating, and not 100% up till you feel 100% full. And another point that both Dr. Blossom and Lavneet made is that, eating a salad in a hurry is not necessarily better than eating like fish and chips in a relaxed atmosphere. I read this beautiful quote in B. Wilson's book. And that's so important, that it's not just what we eat, but how we eat. That is so important. And setting the right atmosphere, eating in a non-stressed atmosphere, which is when, our body will register that we are eating. We'll feel sated that we've eaten a good meal. And meal times should be happy times and not stressful times. So these are my simple tips. Of course, all the food tips that Dr. Blossom and Lavneet Batra gave ahead of me all stand true. So I'm just adding to that.
Thanks, Dr. Nandita, for wonderful inputs. We just loved it. I would like to hear from Shweta. What are the superfoods which you consume and you feel that it should be added in our daily diet?
Now, basically, for me, superfood is like, being from an Ayurvedic background, I always believe that your gut should be really healthy rather than anything else. So the food, I don't call it as a superfood. It is the gut that is making your food a superfood. This is what we believe. So basically, if your gut is clean, it is going to be reflected, like how Dr. Blossomji explained that, inner side needs to be clean. So for me, the gut needs to be clean. Whomsoever comes, even if there's diabetes or cholesterol or whatever it is, we just try to balance the gut microbiome, or maybe just the 5 elements of which we are made up of. That's the air, space, water, fire, and earth. So these are the principles that we follow. And then if you see, whatever you eat is definitely going to be absorbed, because you're not what you eat. You are what you digest and what you absorb and what you eliminate. This is what we believe. So the superfood, if at all you're asking me, it is like I very much go ahead with the spices, because that's the main USP to clean your gut. That's the coriander seeds and carom seeds and fennel seeds. Second is the ash god juice, which I recommend to everybody. So ash god is super alkaline, which is very much available everywhere, and it just pulls down the pH level of the blood down. It makes it alkaline. And thirdly is the coconut. This is what I believe, because this is coconut is the only fall, जिसको हम श्री फल बोलते हैं in Hindi. It has got Shri attached to it, because even in the recent times, ancient times, Rishi Munis knew that coconut was so beneficial, and it was available only in the coastal areas. तो उसको कैसे भी करके interiors में लाना था. So they made it mandatory with like every puja, every havan, every death, everywhere, even the birth of the child, coconut needs to be there because it has got amazing nutritive properties. So these are the three things which I abide by.
Right. Thank you. I would like to hear Ginny's view. So everybody is talking about, what we eat, how we eat, that matters a lot. What's your view on this, and how do you, take this whole thing? Because that's very, very important. Yeah, Ginny.
Hi everyone, good afternoon first of all, and I'm super glad to be among these beautiful and talented young women. And it's so many experienced people. I get to learn so much today. Thank you so much, Nikki, for having me here. So basically, I when I started my transformation 4 5 years back, and after learning that only gym and only your physical activity will not give you results. It is what you eat. So when I got done with my nutrition course, I got to learn so many new things because for a longer period of time, I had a very bad relation with food. So it's like when you hear something saying that चावल मत खाया करो 10 बजे के बाद, carbs मत खाया करो 10 बजे के बाद. I mean, and this thing was literally stuck in my head for a very long period of time because all my surrounding people are from bodybuilding or physique category who compete professionally. So their ideology behind it is high protein diet कर लो, carbs बिल्कुल बंद कर दो, और शुगर बंद कर दो, और फ्रूट ज्यादा मत खाया करो. All of these things, when you put it in a diet, a lot of important things or important elements get eliminated from your diet, which you don't realize when you're consuming it. But in the long run, for a girl or for a guy, it spikes up the hormonal levels, the mental health, and it is reflected on your skin, your hair, your stress levels. So for me, right now, having a balanced diet, and since we are in India, and we get so many varieties and versatile fruits and vegetables available to us. So for me, it's always about having the right amount of food in in a manner where I've had my GERD and acid refluxes due to depression. So now, when I know that, rightly said by Lavneet, I completely agree. How you eat your food really, really matters because when you are stressed out, you kind of do stress eating, and even if you're eating the right amount of food and a good amount of food, still it will not get assimilated in your body. So it's very, very important in having your meal in a very peaceful area with, eliminating the noises, not watching TV, or not multitasking. So for me, it's really important to have a balanced diet with there is you can involve vegetables, and the best thing that I have done and I have seen results in that I vouch for is having vegetables as your snack. You can cut, like a fry-shaped carrot with a healthy hummus dip, and you can have cucumber as your salad, not as your salad, but as a snack. And having fruits when you're on the go, when you're traveling, carry nuts and seeds with you instead of chips packet. And these small little changes have worked for me, and that's what I recommend my clients because the people of my age group, they just go on with the trendy diet which is trending on social media, or what you see a celebrity following it without knowing the pros and cons of that diet. It may or may not work for that person, but it is not necessary that it's no diet is one fit for all. So you need to study what you're eating and getting to know what you eat and what you like. Usually, what we do is when we are on cheat meal or when we are on a a period of holidays, we think like, अरे नहीं अगर मैं ये खा लूंगी या मैं ये खा लूंगा, it might affect my goal. Your mental health is really important. So if you feel like having a meal which is good for your soul, have it. One meal will not make a difference, provided you are not having a pattern of repeating that cycle again and again and on a frequent basis. Having a balanced diet for an entire week and having and enjoying that one day cheat meal or a cheat day, I think that's good for your soul, and you just eat what makes
Right.
you happy mindfully.
Right, Ginny. Right. Absolutely. Right, Ginny. Thank you so much, Ginny. Thanks for your view on the same. I would like to hear from, Dr. Blossom here. So, food adulteration is a very common problem in the today's time. We are talking about, common dal and rice, these things, but we don't know what we are consuming, whether we are getting what our body need it or not. I would like to hear your thoughts on the same. You are on mute, Dr. Blossom.
Yeah, that really is a big problem, that we face, that whether it is adulterated or not. But I think organic food and having a little area or having someone where you take it from, a farm, take it directly from a person who grows it, or take it somewhere where if you can grow it, it's very good. But otherwise, take it from someone who you can know that they're giving you the stuff that is not adulterated. Because having adulterated any kind of food adulterated, you're not going to get the same thing. Like, for example, the ghee and the milk that I get it is specifically from a person who I know, who gets, gives me that stuff. And so I know, yes, I can eat it. Otherwise, I don't know what they put into the ghee, and even the dal and the pulses. I think it's very important to know and to make that effort. Really, we have to make the effort to go and find out, and if you can do something like that. But otherwise, it's a lot of thing is trust. And so you have to just go with it and maybe eat a little extra of a certain thing. But the main thing is the pesticides. If there are pesticides, I'm really so petrified. So what I do is I wash it properly, and then I soak it in salt, and then I somebody said soak it in salt water for so long and then take it out. And the other was potassium permanganate, which was really very good. Just put the thing in so that those pesticides, because I feel, Nikki, I feel the pesticides are worse than the adulteration that is there, So I think go for organic food, which is really good. It is fantastic. And now we can get it also.
Absolutely, Dr. Blossom. We can get organic food, but is it actually organic? Or many brands are selling only actual non-organic food with the label of organic. I would like to hear Love.
Yes, that
I'll
is
you and
another
then
thing.
I'll move to Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a big question mark. And I was reading one article in Economic Times. It is a very hot topic.
Yeah.
What we are buying on the, as a tag of organic, sometimes it's not actually organic.
Yes, because I was speaking to somebody from Chennai, and I was saying, this organic, I want to get organic because our oils, we were saying organic. And he was saying, do you know, there is no such thing as really organic. They do have to use a little bit of that. So my thing for that is, try to get a little patch or somebody who really grows the organic, for your family. If you're eating it for your family and for things, that is a good thing to go by. But like you were saying, Nikki, that there's no such thing really as organic. That's what they say. There is natural, there is as much natural as possible, but not organic. Now that I would leave to the rest also. I'd love to listen to that about that.
I would like to hear Lovely views also on the same.
I hear you, Nikki. It is definitely a very big concern, definitely for the audience, also for us as practitioners, because we want to make sure that we are able to give them the right products and the right guidance. I would say that it can be misleading if you're only going by the label organic. right? Food labeling can be misleading for different labels, be it organic, be it sugar-free, be it fat-free, for various reasons. Don't go for these labels. Now do a little bit of research. See, the pantry that we maintain at home, it is an effort, like how Dr. Kocher said, that you have to make that first time effort to understand where is the source. Try to get your most of your even your dals, rice locally, source them locally, especially if you consume certain food items on a regular basis. Get them whole, don't get them pisa hua, don't get the powdered form. That is one way to skip the adulteration, right? Be it your spices, be it any flours that you're using. I think that whole concept of chakki ka atta is somewhere, it's just somewhere just going away. I think we need to get back to sourcing the whole grains, and then using those traditional methods of storage and washing and cleaning, and then getting it powdered. That is one thing. Secondly, be more careful for animal-based products, because for plant-based products, the toxins, be it pesticides or the chemicals that are being used, that still leaches lesser amount. Not that it's not dangerous, but it is definitely worse when it comes from a animal-based source. So for your dairy, if you're using milk every day, you need to know which kind of milk it is. Is it from Indian Gir cow, or is it from Jersey cow, A1 milk that is causing more inflammation in your body? Now, there is an increased case of inflammatory diseases, be it autoimmune, be it gut health issues. And this is the reason that the quality of food that we are eating, it might be a superfood, so to say, example, moong dal. But many people would say, oh, I'm allergic to dals now. Now I'm allergic to yogurt. It's probably not the food item, but how it is being, the whole supply chain of that food item is causing our gut, the inflammation in our gut to increase. Now, quality assurance has to be there from the household side. There are few ways to know that whether the product is good or not. You can say by the taste, right? By the color of certain food items. Also, how you feel after effect of that atta or the food product that you're getting. And like how Dr. Kocher rightly said, that you have to follow certain, how are you cleaning your fruits and vegetables, the produce that you're getting, that even if there are pesticides in it, then you get rid of those. And eating in season, I see so many people, if you love mangoes, they will keep eating mangoes till October, November. So, just being more mindful of seasonality, getting it locally, and then washing it properly, and then still understanding. A lot of people would come to me and say that in Delhi, I can't tolerate milk at all. But all of a sudden, I'm in a different place. I'm in Europe, I'm in Australia, and I have no problem with milk whatsoever. So it's not, it's not that product, but how probably you're sourcing that product. So you have to be careful.
Very, very good inputs, Lavneet. I would like to hear from Dr. Nandita. As Dr. Blossom mentioned about, I actually forgot that who mentioned that, but inculcating right eating habits, and it's important to develop the good eating habits in child. How one can ensure that, and how much it is important?
Right. Very valid point. And at up to 6 months, it's recommended that babies are breastfed exclusively and absolutely no other food. In the ideal situation, of course, formula replacement happens when there are other problems and if it's not possible, etc. But after 6 months is when a baby is introduced to solid foods. And, every week a new food is introduced so that you're not mixing too many new foods. And if there's any reaction, you will not come to know. But right from that time, if every week, a new fruit, a new vegetable, a new dal kind of thing keeps getting introduced, and without any salt or sugar. So, babies get used to that actual taste of the food. And, sometimes as parents, what we do is that if we don't like something, we automatically assume that, no, you can't give it to the baby won't like it. But that's not true, because a newborn's taste buds are constantly developing, and it's very important to expose them to literally any and every flavor except salt and sugar, because it's not recommended that you add it in the early stages of life. So I think that is one way to, in absolute infancy, that's one way to make sure that the taste buds are exposed to a variety of flavors. And, so that when the baby consciously grows up and consciously starts eating foods, it's not something so strange or unfamiliar, and it's already used to eating foods like these. And also, never cook baby food separately. When the child is 1 year old, that at 1 year they can eat everything that we are eating. Of course, I understand that spices like chilies and anything very strong flavored, you can surely avoid that. But other than that, I'm talking about the actual dishes. They can totally eat what we are eating, and that is what is recommended from the first year of life. Because even restaurants, if you see, even for like 10 and 12-year-old kids, they have separate menus, which is nothing but unhealthy stuff. If you look at it, it will be some fries, some white sauce. In terms of vegetable, I'll only see a potato in there. So this whole separate menu, separate kind of meals for children from early on, makes us treat them like they are some separate entity. Whereas it's so wrong, because we want to make them right up, we want to guide them to their adulthood where they make the right decisions. Because once the child starts going to school and spends lesser and lesser hours at home, they need to be able to make the right decision, because we are not going to be around to police them all the time. And that's when they'll turn into conscious adults who eat well. So I think this whole journey, we should, as parents, and we should guide them in such a way that they are able to understand why you're eating a certain thing, and not try to sneak in also. Like a lot of people recommend you just mash everything and sneak it into this. But that doesn't make the child understand, that doesn't make them take a conscious decision. So keep them aware of the process, get them involved in the menu planning, get them involved when you go out shopping for, vegetables and fruits. So keep them involved all through, so they grow up into, knowledgeable adults about food. And in fact, I think schools should also include basic cooking, basic knowledge of nutrition as a part of the curriculum, because I think that's more important than algebra, knowing what to eat in your life. And that's what is going to last you for your whole life. Because I don't remember a single formula I learned in algebra in school. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Very valid points, Dr. Nandita. Thank you for sharing with us. I would like to move to Dr. Shweta. So Shweta, I would like to know, is coronavirus pandemic helping people, or people are now, they have no other options apart from eating good food, or switch to better food habits?
No, see, basically, because of the pandemic, in fact, I'm happy that it has happened to some extent. People have really become conscious about their eating, about the way they are, taking their environment and their fitness and everything. But more than even pandemic, I also call your diabetes and cholesterol also to be it's like a more pandemic, because every third girl is suffering from PCOS, every seventh person is suffering from diabetes. So it's not only the virus, but it is also all the lifestyle diseases that we are going through. So we have to be very conscious about it. And obviously we have to, people have become conscious about eating healthy and choosing the right options. And many of the options has lovely discussed. Dr. Nandita has discussed about it. The way we eat, the early to rise, early to bed, what time to तभी exercise भी होते थे, because the maids were not there at home. And I have seen people really following it. And in fact, these 3 months, 7 months, when they're following that, they really found the change. Because even with the time, if you say time bhi the unke paas, and they could easily manage their food, they could easily exercise. So everything was along with us. The time was with us. So it helped the body. So this is how I go ahead.
I saw Dr. Kocher is smiling a lot, so I would like to hear her thoughts. Do you really, is coronavirus pandemic, helping people to adapt good and better, food habits? What do you think?
I really think they are paying more attention now to their food habits. Definitely they are, because I think this pandemic has really shaken them up. And I found that they are going a lot into their food habit. That's one. But there is another group that is, that is not paying much attention to their food habits, because they are sitting at home and they've got all this stress. And like I think Lavneet was saying, stress is one big factor, and they've got so much of stress. So they don't, and when I look at them after that, I feel, oh God, now what has happened? Because they're eating all the wrong things and anything. And so it depends now. There's one group that is so stressed out and so think that they eat anything. And there is this other group that is really taking a lot of interest in their exercise. They are doing an exercise, they are doing breathing, they're going into yoga, they're going into all forms of exercise. And we also have them go into, their food habits have also changed. They are taking all these and all those things like ashwagandha and they're including all this amlaki and all that, and turmeric. And also now even we have started this tea, this banana tea, which is really fantastic, plantain tea, which we take the plantain and cut it and put it into hot water, pour the hot water into it. It's like a tea, and then just cover it, and after a few minutes strain it out and drink that tea. And it's got all the phosphorus and all the good things that from the banana into it. Also melatonin that helps us to sleep, and serotonin. So it's a wonderful thing. I started it at this time with the pandemic.
Dr. Kochar, I missed the name of that product.
Okay. It's called banana tea. It's just your simple bananas. The banana you get, take anything. You can take it, anything. Wash it nicely, but really wash it, because then cut it into half. And then you're going to put it there into a little bowl or your little katori, and pour hot water on top, as though you're making tea. This is the tea. Pour hot water and then cover it up, leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes. In fact, 10 minutes. And then strain it out and drink it. And it's really fantastic. And those who have diabetes, then we don't take the fruit, we only take the peel. And this really gives you the phosphorus and the manganese, those minerals that the banana gives you. And the best thing is it really helps you to sleep, and it releases serotonin, which is fantastic. It's really great.
So I thank you so much for sharing this. I can see everybody's facial reaction. Nobody has heard about it. I can.
It is amazing. It is really amazing. And I discovered this in this time because I was saying, the stress and the tension, and I was talking. And so they said, no, you just try this. And it's fantastic. It will help you to sleep. And it's so simple.
I'm going to try this.
Yeah, you can try it. I tried it, and it's very nice. And first I said, oh, tea, I can't take it. So no, you just have to cut it, strain it, and then it has a very nice kind of a taste also. But wash the banana well, okay? That's the thing.
Sure. I would definitely love to ask Navneet and Nandita, Dr. Nandita a little later. I will first move to Ginny. So, Ginny here, does long-term calorie restriction make one prone to shorter lifespan? Do you really think, because when it comes to the weight loss and all these things, people reduce their calories and they just, many times I heard about, crash dieting and all these things. How does it impact on their, health and life? What's the impact?
So, see, depending, when there are some clients who come and they say that, okay, we need to lose this amount of weight in this particular amount of time. Say, for example, मेरे भाई की शादी है, मुझे 15 किलो वेट तो कम करना है, ये लहंगा पहनना है मुझे डिजाइनर वाला. So then they come to us like for 2.5 months before, and they say that we need to do this. And then they expect that it's something really magical that we can do being a nutritionist, and we can give them some fat diet. And ऐसा होता है, लोग बोलते हैं. So I just recommend my clients that आप समझो आपने अपनी एज के 28 years में इतना फैट अगर बढ़ाया है, to release that fat or to decrease that fat, you need to give it some time. If you go on a crash diet, probably it might you can lose your water weight, or you might lose your muscle and might look lean, but the con of it is you are compromising on your hormones, on your immunity, on your mental awareness. And what will happen? आप अचानक से जिम में हो and cardio कर रहे हो, mild cardio, you face something, a stress on your head, and then you faint. And then you say, oh, मैं तो सब बराबर खा रही हूँ, मैं तो अभी कम खा रही हूँ, फिर ऐसे कैसे हो रहा है? When you are straining your body with heavy weight training and a lot more cardio than you're not used to, you need to fuel your body. People don't understand this, and a lot of girls I have seen, they say that carbs are the biggest enemy. आप अगर अपना कार्ब्स नहीं खाओगे, आपको एनर्जी सोर्स कहाँ से आएगा? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, carbs, we are Indians, come on, carbs is in our blood, you can't deny the fact that carbs is the actual, I would say that not having a lot of carbs, but yes, having a complete meal with carbs, protein, fats, that's really important. People try and neglect carb as a bad person, and then they think that protein and fats might work for them. Yes, keto works for some people, but keto does not work for everyone. So having a calorie deficit diet for a longer period of time, if you have somebody to guide you for it, having taken your micronutrients along with it, taking your fruits and vegetable, incorporating it in your diet, and when you know you're getting your basic requirements of your body, then I think it's fine when you have somebody to guide you for your diet. But just having to look it up on YouTube or on internet and following that diet without having any awareness about what you're eating and how that calorie deficiency is going to affect your body, it's dangerous. I mean, I can't even emphasize on it. Having a
I
calorie
just like
deficit diet,
these
having
inputs. Very, very nice inputs, Ginny. Completely agree with you. Thank you so much for sharing such insightful inputs. I think Lavneet is not here, though I wanted to ask her about the, as Dr. Kocher has mentioned about the tea here. And, so green tea has emerged as one of the main component of our diet. And what do you say about this trend? Do you think that this is healthy and one should consume, as the trend is really growing up and people are crazy about green tea?
Hi, Nikki. I think I lost you there. This question is for me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's interesting that you asked me this question, because I've spoken about green tea versus black tea in my book, 50 Desi Super Drinks. I feel we have this tendency of giving something so much of importance, like one food, that, okay, green tea is going to be your savior, so that you can do whatever you want. You can have a big meal, go all out, have as much alcohol you want, as much junk you want, and then followed by a cup of green tea, thinking that it's going to be all okay. Now, that being said, of course, green tea is a great source of antioxidants, and it does have mild caffeine. And if you are someone who enjoys that flavor, and you can have 2 cups of green tea, it will keep you energized, at the same time give you those flavonoids. But you can get those flavonoids through many other sources also, even through black tea. How you make your green tea and why you're having that green tea is very, very important. I think when it comes to fitness and even longevity, having a disease-free life, we need to come out of these, so to say, health halos, that calorie free versus foods, like you mentioned earlier, that, okay, having less food, will it help you? The idea is to bring back balance. If you are not creating a system for your body where your body is utilizing energy better, not storing energy, you will not have a life that is energetic, stress free. Your sleep, your mood, everything counts in, right? Not just that weight on the weighing scale.
Lavneet, you have stressed a lot on stress and mood and all these things. So I would like to, as Dr. Kocher has suggested a banana tea, I would like to hear your suggestion for one, how to maintain how to de-stress yourself, because stress is a big challenge in the today's time. So what's your recommendation for that?
There could be many recommendations, but I'll strictly talk from a nutritionist point of view. Start eating foods that are rich in magnesium, zinc, and tryptophan. So these are the nutrients that will help in increasing the serotonin, even the melatonin,
Lavneet,
the happy hormones. So really is the one that's relaxing. It could be.
Lavneet, we lost you completely in between. So
Sorry.
I thought that was my connection that I lost.
We just heard magnesium and then it was all blank almost. We were not able to hear properly. So you can just recommend the fruit's name and I'll switch to other panelists.
So banana, pumpkin seeds, rice, yogurt, homemade curd. Try to include these foods in your diet and it will help in de-stressing. You could also use more potent herbs like ashwagandha closer to bedtime, which help. Chamomile, ashwagandha.
Great, thank you. Dr. Nandita, I'm so sorry. Dr. Nandita, so as you have written a book on superfoods, and I would like to know your superfood which you consume in your daily life.
So, like I've written, I don't believe in any one particular food or any one miracle.
You can suggest me 5 also.
Yeah. No. I mean to say is that you need to not take refuge in any one particular food and, think that, that's going to save me from all the other ill lifestyle things. Exactly what Lavneet said. And those are literally, that's literally what I believe in. But, some of the lesser known superfoods, if you can think about, it is things like lobia, which is black-eyed peas. Then a lot of dark green leafy vegetables, because if you're buying online or if you're buying from a supermarket, they only usually have palak and methi and literally nothing else, because these have a very small, low shelf life. So and they are also not so expensive. So it doesn't make sense for a supermarket to stock them. So make sure that once in a while you go out to your local markets and buy a lot of, and they only stock what's in season in the markets. So you buy some of the local green leafy vegetables. And in India and Indian cuisine, we are blessed to have an absolute rich variety of these greens. And, let's not run after Swiss chard and kale and rocket. Those are great too. But also pay attention to our own local desi foods, which you will find in the markets, which are in season. And if you don't know how to cook them, the vegetable vendor themselves are happy to tell you how to use it. So that's the second thing I would say. And thirdly, again, don't stick to any one food and overdo it. Like I know of many doctor friends who say that the ill effects of eating too much turmeric during this pandemic, where people are having tablespoons of it, even that's not good. Something is called a superfood because it's very potent in micronutrients. And that's why, in Indian cooking, we use like half teaspoon or, for like a dish of 4 people, we never add in tablespoons. So there's a certain science behind, why we use it in a certain way. It's always mixed into oil because it has fat soluble nutrients. So stick to that and don't overdo on anything thinking that, this will make me like superhuman overnight. So be moderate, even though whatever you are consuming. I would definitely want to put that across.
I really, like a couple of points like local green leafy vegetables. It happens sometimes if we are buying online or from, any supermarket, we don't get that kind of green leafy vegetables. So Dr. Blossom, what's your superfood mantra and you rely on?
No, my superfood mantra. I eat everything. I don't have anything as a superfood mantra, but one thing I do take is ragi or oats regularly in the morning, because I think that really works for me. And that's all. Otherwise, I just go for everything. I don't go in for any specific superfood. And like Dr. Nandita was saying, that like turmeric or anything, I just go for a few days and then I stop. I get very nervous. I said, I may be taking a little extra. But the ashwagandha, of course, I am regular with that one at night because that helps a great deal. And amla ki, because I believe instead of taking this, the other vitamin C, the synthetic one, I prefer this one amla a day. That really, amla a day, I say, that keeps the doctor away. So that is what I really believe in, because that gives the full vitamin C, I feel. And that's all. And no, but everything, I feel we have to eat a balanced diet. And there's no such thing as a superfood as such. I think I was listening to all of y'all. We make it into a superfood by, eating it in a proper way, eating it less, and also letting it digest in our stomach, and our digestion has a great deal to do with it. So that's how I go about it.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Kochhar. I would like to ask, I have so many questions. It's such an interesting discussion going on. I would like to ask one question to Lavneet. Lavneet, how safe are these health supplements which are, mushrooming in the market?
Yeah.
They're called supplement C for a reason, no? They can only supplement. The foundation has to be through the right diet. And then it shouldn't be self-prescribed. The problem with supplement is that it's over the counter. You can buy it, you can eat it as much as you like, just by looking at the labels. I think these days what's really dangerous is the marketing labels that are out there, that really lure people into getting maybe aesthetics or certain skin type or even fighting a disease. Just evaluate what you are doing. Supplements is not something that should be self-prescribed, but when done right with an expert, definitely helps a lot. In many cases, it's also needed, but 90% it's not.
Okay. Thanks for the details. I would like to hear from Shweta. Shweta, your one superfood, or maybe 2, 3, 4 on which you rely on, some superfood which you completely rely on for you and for your family.
I had already told before, but one superfood which I rely with my kids also is the Gourd Juice, that is Peteka juice. This is very much required in each and every family. And trust me, it is the most super alkaline. So you see, if your body is alkaline, the cancerous cells also cannot grow. It's that. So every day, 1 glass of Peteka juice, and that's it. Well, not that's it. Obviously, you have to, the whole diet has to go that way. But one
has to consume in the morning or empty stomach?
Not required empty stomach, but yes, in the morning.
Okay. So, Ginny, your superfood on which you rely on?
For me, being coming from South Indian family, I would definitely say coconut and peanuts, nuts and seeds. So these things I incorporate in my diet, and I have noticed tremendous amount of changes, and I provide the same advice to my clients as well. It's a good source of getting your healthy fats in. So
absolutely. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for such an insightful discussion, and it was very engaging. I didn't realize that when we finished our 1 hour. So I have more questions to ask, and we have such a diversified panelist here. So thank you. I'll quickly summarize. So our today's discussion. So eating right is a key. What we are consuming in a right manner, that's very important. And teaching child about good food. Since childhood, it's very, very important, as you are helping them to become responsible, good food advocates. So that's very important. Avoid fizzy drinks, switch to fresh juices, and be mindful what you are consuming. Don't stress yourself about, whether you are eating, right food or not right food. Just focus that you plan your meals. Stay intuitive. Eating right in a long term is an investment. I completely take that point. I just love this line. And fill your pantry with healthy stuff, and it will change your habit. Source of vegetables, and source your fruits and vegetables locally, and indulge in green leafy vegetables. And so that's the key of our today's discussion. And thank you, Dr. Kochhar, Dr. Lavneet Batra, Nandita, and everybody for being part of the show and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you.